Welcome. So this is quite a long episode probably, doing the door. I thought I just needed to do the skin. As I got into it, I discovered I needed to do quite a lot to the frame as well. So quite a lot of work here doing the door and the frame. I also had a problem with my compressor in that it started spewing oil all over the place twice. There are a couple of images that later on, but if anyone can tell me what I need to do to fix that, I would be really grateful. So hope you enjoy. We're going to start by looking at this door. We'll clean that off first and see how high the rust goes before we look any further. So we cleaned this off, and what I've got here is more of my scrap metal 16 gauge. That's what we're going to use since I don't have 18. And this piece that I've got left over isn't quite big enough, so it's just short. If I go all the way down and just replace it in one piece. I guess if I replaced it in two pieces, I could go across like that, and then do another piece for there, which in some ways might be a better use of metal, but no, I'm just going to replace the whole lot in one go, so all the way across. So this isn't quite long enough. So here's another piece of 16, which clearly is. And downside on this is they've clearly been doing lots of welding or something on the back of it at some point, so it's got lots of spatter, so we'll take a bit of cleaning, but that's okay. So I will cut this a bit more down to size. I'll take the door off, and then we'll take a look at it. Now I'm going to do this differently to the other side. So on the other side, I try to make a fold and slip it in and then weld along, and I don't know what went wrong, but it got very pulled in and I used a lot of filler, and I don't know if I'm going to redo that yet. So this side I'm going to try it differently. We will clean off along here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just weld a piece straight on here down, and then I'm going to trim it off at the right level. And then for the fold over, I'm just going to weld on another piece along the end. So it's welded on like that. At least that's what I thought I would try. So we'll start by cleaning this off actually before we take it off. Once we've cleaned it off, we'll get it off, we'll get the glass out, we'll make it usable, and we'll go from there. It is Tuesday today. I didn't get much done yesterday because I had a problem at work, so I had to go back and get some stuff done because I had an emergency call. So I've taken the door off now, and I don't know why I didn't really see this from the other side, but clearly this is in need of a significant bit of work here. And also, as I go along this lip, it looks like most of this lip here is actually rusted a bit thin, so I think we'll start by cleaning this off. We'll see how much needs replacing and then take another look at it. So I have in here two bits that need doing. There's a support structure in here that runs all the way along, and it's spot welded on at the bottom here and along here, and it has it's holding effectively a strengthening bracket along this bit of the door. So that's this inner bit which is rusted through, and then obviously the outer skin has rusted as well. So there's this bit that needs doing. We've clearly seen the skin on the other side, and then if we just move along a little bit, we've got some holes along here, a very poor bit here, okay, a bit in the middle there, and then towards the other end we've also had it rusted away. And this is rusted all the way up here, in fact, so you know it comes down. There's this, and then there's a lip down. It goes down a couple mil and then comes out. So this lower bit is all rusted out as well. So there's quite a lot on this before I get to this skin. So I'm going to start, I think, on this side in terms of trying to repair this frame, and I think what we'll start by doing is trying to create a patch for this outside, so something that comes along around here, along around here. Yeah, so if we start with that, something that we can then fit in, so that we could then cut this area out and try to look at what to do about the inner bit. Now with the inner bit, what I don't want to do, see, I don't want to cut this up here somewhere and bring it around. I don't want to cut through any of these holes or adjust any of this. I want to leave all of that as is. So we're probably looking to cut along here, which means I might not get rid of all of that rusty stuff, but it also means it's going to be hard to weld it. Right, well, let's start with that outer patch anyway. So I've started with this piece here, which I bend around like that. If I hold it against that side, it does appear to come at a bit of an angle, which I think it must do. I'm not sure. When I hold that flat, and it's coming at an angle, so yeah, so it must do. So, which is fine. I mean, it comes in a bit of an angle around there, and since this feeds back, that actually suits it. So we've got that. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to work out where to cut this. So we'll cut it, do a vertical cut so I can bend it over to get this lip in. But in bending it, I'm likely to lose some of this curve somehow, I think. And so I'm just trying to work out how best to do that at the moment. And I'm not sure. Oh, ouch. So what I thought I'd do is, instead of doing a cut this way and bending it over, I'm going to do a cut this way and then straighten this bit out and then bend it over, and hopefully that then means I just trim off around the corner. I think that will work, and I guess we're about to find out. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. I did that cut as I said, flattened this out and then bent it over. Okay, I then trimmed off inside, so that seems to be relatively good fit. I think I need to, so when this goes in, it's going to move in that way by 16 gauge. It's going to move down by 16 gauge, and it's going to move this way by 16 gauge. Alright, so what does that mean? If it's going to move this way by 16 gauge, I actually need a gap here all the way around there of 16 gauge. If it's going to move that way by 16 gauge, I need a gap along here of 16 gauge. And if it's going to move down by that amount, then I need a gap along the bottom. So the bottom looks good. I mean, that's, if anything, you know, I haven't got enough metal, and I haven't made it big enough. So you can see, I hope, how there's here there's quite a bit of a gap, so I might have to add some down here. It's a shame because I actually cut a little bit off because I needed to get rid of some on this corner. I didn't realise how much it went up. That's better. Okay, so when I've got it like that, there we go. So what am I going to do? I think what I might start doing is I might put a couple of plug welds in, a couple of welds in there, just to get this in place. I can then weld this, cut it off, and have my shape, and then I'll come back and try and get appropriate gaps. Right, so I'm pretty happy with this piece. So it goes on here. I've checked in terms of space, and well, I had checked, and maybe I need to take a bit more along here actually, but you know, for the most part it all fits around. Okay, so I have room for it to fall into place, which is good. And as you can see, I've actually managed to finish it off relatively nicely for once. So that's good. So the next bit is here, so I'm going to just trim out a bit now around here. I'm trying to think if I ought to cleco this into place first so I know where it goes. So I think I'll put a couple of clecos in this to hold it in place, so I know where to put it back. Yeah, I think that definitely makes sense. And then I'm going to trim out some of this to see how much of this I can get at. It is Wednesday. I decided that I was happy with what I'd done yesterday, and I didn't want to. I wanted to leave on a high, so I stopped because I felt I'd done a good job. So today I'm going to work on this bit. So I've cut out a bit, as much as I dare, I guess. And I want to replace this, and I'm trying to decide. I mean, part of me says, well, the sensible approach would be to do exactly what I've done here. It's got a bit more of a curve here, but I don't see that that's too much of an issue. And then another part of me thinks if I excuse me, do it and then toggle the end so that it fits inside, and that just gives me more metal to weld against. And I haven't decided which of the two is better at this stage. So maybe, just as I'm talking about it, maybe what I'll do is I'll actually make a piece that fits inside here, because that then should fit there. Well, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to start by bending a piece around here and trim that down. And yeah, we're just going to work on here. Okay, so here's the patch, which goes in here. So I need to get it in, you know, the metal thickness that way and that way and that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scribe around it where it is. and that should then mean it needs trimming down further. But I can then line up this edge, and yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it slowly is the point. I'm going to do it really slowly, just slowly take the metal out and see where we end up. Yeah. Okay, so that's now in place. A bit hot, but so we're going to get some primer on there. We're going to get some primer on the inside of that. We've got a bit of metal, so we're going to give this a quick grind, get some primer on the inside of that, and then we're going to try to weld that piece in place next. So I'm going to stop now. It's not quite in, but I'm beginning to get impatient. So given I'm really pleased with how it's going so far, it's a bit warm still, but you know, it's coming along. I've got a few pinholes along here still, and here, and I haven't welded along the bottom yet, but I'm doing a little bit at a time and then grinding it down, and so this needs a bit of grinding still. And again, it's not a perfect finish, but I must say, I think that's pretty good for me. In fact, I think that's really good for me. I'm really pleased with it so far. So I'm going to keep taking it slowly and go from there. Changed my mind. I had something to eat. I came back out. So this is now welded up all the way up here, all the way along, and it's pretty good. Ouch. And down here obviously, and then I've welded it along here, but I haven't really ground it down because I think I'm just going to have to replace this bit anyway. So I'll probably end up having to cut out along here and then re-weld that in. So yeah, so I'm trying to decide really how to do the next bit. So obviously I've got this corner that needs to come out further, and I'm going to have to use the other door as a template for that. And then this obviously needs to come all the way down, but it's rusted along here. The whole of this bit is rusted all the way along, and then this bit is rusty in here. So I'm not gonna, this has a little kind of lip on it or something, which I wasn't going to bother with, to be honest. I just need to make sure, you know, I get it at the right place. But I was thinking about just all the way along here, just one bit that comes out to the right depth. Then I can drill in a couple of holes for water to escape, if necessary. I haven't thought about this bit. And yeah, we're going to have to bring this out as well. So quite a lot to do on the frame still, but I'm actually, you know, I'm very quite pleased with what I've done here. One of my better pieces of work, I feel. Today is Friday. Didn't do anything yesterday, so having a little think about how to do this, and I'll just show you. My car is jammed in at the moment, so in order to try to get a template from the other door, I need to put the wheel back on, which, I mean, it's no big deal, but I need to do that. And to be honest, as soon as I do that, I'd need to clear up all this stuff under here, move the car out of the way, get the door so that I can do it and all of that. So I'm not going to do that just yet. I'll be doing it soon, I'll have to, but what I thought I'd do today is I'm going to look to, so here it just folds down a little bit and then comes out again. Alright, it's not very good along here, but it's pretty decent the rest of the way. So I've got a choice. I either do a piece like that, we can see where I'd have gaps, or I put a piece in straight. I mean, I suppose I could try a bend. Why don't I want to? Anyway, so yeah, maybe I will actually try a bend. We'll try a bend, but we're going to put a piece in like that, and then we'll have to build on this piece afterwards, and we'll still have to do this piece up here as well, but we're going to break it down into different bits. So we'll do one here, sort of this length first. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with today. Right, so I went for a straight bit in the end. And if anyone can tell me why I didn't cut this bit out first and fix that first, I'd be pleased to know, but I didn't, so we're doing that now. So I've taken a light all the way along the back. I don't have any holes apart from here, so I'm cutting it out. I'm going to grind that down and I'll weld a piece in here. And I have a piece here which I'll need to trim down, so this will come in just there like that, so we'll cut that down a bit, and we'll go from there. Hopefully I'll get this done tonight. Stopping here now for the night. So yeah, that's okay. So we've got that solid now. I need to put some paint on the back of it, and so this all folds, you know, in theory folds up. Now I might just want to take a bit off. If you look here, I think it looks like it might be a bit long. I haven't noticed that before. In the middle here. But the measure should be the same all the way along, so maybe not. It's probably just because this is bent over. If I was to bend it out and back in, it would probably be okay. See if we can do that without breaking it. Oh well, it's going to be what it's going to be now. I might take just a little bit, grind off a bit, because obviously I want it to fold over, and yeah, there we are. So we've still working on the frame, still got to do this bit here, excuse me, and is that in? And we've still got to do this bit here where it's clearly fairly rusted, so the frame, you know, this bit is folded over, so the frame has to come all the way out here and down. But it's coming, and look, I even managed to, I was quite pleased with some of this, grind this down fairly well. I was blowing quite a lot of holes in there, which is why I've just left that a bit. But yeah, it's coming. This morning I cleaned up everything underneath the car. I had that wheel back on so I could pull it out. And I pulled it out and I had a look at the other side of the door, at this bit here. And it is just a straight corner there, so what I've got here is I've got a piece of metal clamped in here that is running parallel to this, and then I clamped it in here, and so I need to trim along this edge here to get this flat so that this is a straight line. So I put this on like that. Okay, cut up and around, and I'm going to cut across here, so I'm going to cut out a piece to fit in there now. So we've got that bit in. Looks okay, I think. Do I need to? I might need to. Yeah, no, that looks okay. I've got an even gap along there by the look of it. So we've got that in place, nice and strong. So now we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to follow the same principle. I'll do a piece that comes in down like that and weld it up. And I'll do just straight down here, and then I'm going to fit it onto the car and see what it all looks like. Well, I'm just going to drop you on the ground and try to break this camera even more. So along here we can see we've got, this is the frame there as opposed to the door panel, the skin, and as we come along here we can see it's getting closer and closer. And I mean, in fact, even as the door's on, you know, the original skin is banging up against it. So I don't know if that means I can lift this front a bit more. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to grind. I'm going to cut this bit of skin off so I can see what's going on. And then I'm just going to grind this down until I've got... I'd rather have slightly too much distance, to be honest. If I've got slightly too much, I've got a bit more space to do things. So I'm going to grind it down a bit the whole way along and make that gap less. So I've been grinding that down and it's getting a better fit. I can't get this bit because the door's on, I can't get in there, so I still need to take a bit more out along this end. But as I was doing that, I started getting a smell and hearing a noise. Here's my compressor, and oh dear. So we're going to have to clean that up and have another look at it, and see if I need to do anything. I don't know. I hope that's not gone. Anyway, so we're going to stop this episode here, and we will continue on next time. So the compressor was low on oil. Having let it cool off, I plonked some oil in there, and I've been using it again and it seems fine. So I can't grind off this bit at the moment because it's in the door, but the rest of that, it seems okay to me, I hope. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the door off again. I'm going to grind this bit down, and then I'm going to and I'm not going to try to fold it over this time. My plan, well, I'm thinking about it actually. I've seen people do it by just fitting it on, a piece on, and then welding a piece on the other side, and I might try that instead. I haven't quite decided, but what I have decided is I'm going to take it off, grind that bit down, and then have a go at doing something. What a plonker. I cut out this part to go in, so I'll cut it here and here to get the edge, and nice flat edge, hold it tight and weld it. And then I cleaned off that one, which was the other part of it, so I'll clean off this now. Right, I've realised now why when I did the other side it got pulled in so. And it's because this door's actually curved, it's not flat. Alright, there's a gentle arc in it like that. By welding in a flat piece, I'm trying to stretch that down and pull that down, so that's what happened. And so I'm going to get the same here if I don't put some sort of curve onto this, because you can see if when I pinch it at the bottom, so I pinch it to the flange, okay, which is what it clips up, you can see how it pops up. So I've got to get something in there. I need to think about how to do that. The only thing I've got really for that kind of curve is this little bit of pipe here. So I could try to work along the whole thing slowly and do it. I don't know what else to do though. I don't have any other way of doing it at the moment. I need to think. Okay, so I've used this in here and I put the metal in, and I've just used my weight to try to bend it around a bit. You can see there we've got a bit of a crown on it now. It's not perfect, but that now I think fits a bit better when it squeezes in. So we're going to try now. We need to just clean this off up here a bit, and then we're going to try welding, cut and butt along the top here. So I'll clamp it at the bottom where I want it. We will cut and butt along the top. That should allow us to get this metal out, so I might trim this off a bit first just to make that easier. Yeah, I will do. And we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so that's welded in place. Unfortunately, I do still have a dip in here, so it's a bit dipped here. That's why I haven't ground it down any further. There's just no point because I'm going to put filler over. And unfortunately, it's also a bit bulged here, so but there we are. So the next stage is to trim it off along here and the other end, and then flip it over and weld flanges along here to, flaps in fact, to pull it all together. So that's next. I'm going to take a lunch break, and I just came off to switch my compressor off, and I noticed that we had oil all over the place again. So it's coming out of here, and there's a little plastic thing that goes in there which has clearly popped out. So I've got oil all over the place down here again. I'll have to have another look this afternoon. So the way I've done that lip is I've just laid another piece of metal up against it, squeezed it tight, and then welded the edge. So I'm going to try grinding that down now. Hopefully it'll come out okay. Okay, so there it is back on the car. So it's a bit raised here and here. So in fact where I put that curve in it, it's a bit raised. So that was the wrong idea. And it's a little bit raised over at the front as well. And then here again, it's concave, but not as much as concave or convex. Anyway, yeah, concave a bit. It's gone in a bit, not as much as on the other side, but it's going to take some body filler. That's okay. I mean, I always knew that. I wanted to do less than the other side, and if I'd done a much better job, then I was going to redo the other side. But I think it's not so much better that I'm going to redo the other side. So yeah, that'll take filler and stuff. If anyone can tell me what's wrong with my compressor or what I need to do in terms of a service to fix it and get it working again, please tell me, because I need it. In the meantime, next week, what I'm going to work on next. So how are we doing from time? So I'm going to call that a week of odds and sods. So I've now been working 6 weeks since I set my plan. I've done one of my 3 weeks of odds and sods. I spent 4 weeks doing the floor pan, which I only meant to have 2, and I spent a week on the transmission tunnel, which I was meant to have. So 4 weeks passed, 6 weeks passed, 4 weeks work done. I think I might now run into trouble with odds and sods, but there we are. So next thing I'm going to do, because I need to get the compressor sorted really for lots of welding and grinding and stuff. I mean, I can use this to grind as well, but I get tennis elbow if I use that too much. I prefer the air grinders. So I want to do the engine bay, and my plan was to do that next anyway. So we are going to take out the front suspension and the rest of the gubbins that are in there, so that I can work on the engine bay in a couple of weeks' time.